Hey folks, it's Thursday, March 4th, 2021. I figured I'd give you an update on the goings on here at my new location. And yes, indeed, I have a Starlink rig. Just got it a couple of days ago. It's not working yet. The hardware is working. It's recognizing satellites, and I do actually have a decent line of sight here. It doesn't look like it. I'm fairly constrained as far as finding a place that doesn't have any obstructions to it, but it is actually working. Now the problem is, as I'm just now discovering, I'm at a brand new address, and everybody depends on the post office database for that address. And I'm not there yet. I'm not on the database. So, Starlink is very particular about where they assign the location, the geographical location of each of these dishes. And the way I understand it, and I'm guessing at the moment, I haven't heard back from them yet, is that my dish is not in the location, the geographical location that I assigned for it. If you go on their map, when I signed up, my location when I put in this address wound up kind of in a generic spot on Camp Road itself. That's Camp Road out there, a good half-mile down the road from me. And I think that's where the problem is, because, as I said, everything's working, and if I look in the debug section of the Starlink app, it's showing that there's no obstructions. I am actually, or the dish is actually seeing satellites and actually communicating with the satellites one way, but I'm not actually allowed access because my dish isn't in the right location, according to them. So I've sent off an email to their site. That was a couple of days ago, to say, hey, listen, there's this problem. Here's my actual location. I gave them the specific longitude and latitude, and hopefully they'll fix that in a few days. They have warned me that it could be a little while before they get back to me, because this is a beta program after all, and they're probably dealing with all sorts of issues, and I know they'll eventually get to me. So I'm not discouraged. Again, as I said, this is a beta program, so you have to kind of take this in stride. And I have participated in beta programs for software before, so that's it. Anyways, I just wanted to give you an update on everything else that's going on here. Because it's the beginning of March, I am now thoroughly done with snow and winter, and it can leave anytime it wants. Because I do need to start getting things ready to build my house. Having said that, the trailer actually has performed. Isn't that the most beautiful bit of construction you've ever seen? Anyways, the trailer has actually worked better than I would have expected. I'm warmer than I expected, and there hasn't been nearly as much trouble with the cold weather, and it has been cold, especially in February, minus 25 and deeper than that at times. And I've been comfortable in there. It's a good thing I have the furnace, the propane furnace, although I do have wood heat that helps. And I wanted the wood heat to cut down on the amount of propane because I had no idea how much I was going to use. And I figured I'd go through a lot of it. And I haven't actually. And that's with a propane stove and a propane fridge. So I've done well with the propane. I'm really glad I put the roof on, and I'm glad I put the shelter over the door because that just keeps the snow away from the door, which is nice. The roof has done well. I really needed to keep the snow off that. I've actually shoveled the snow off once. It was over 2 feet thick at one point. As you can see, the snow has accumulated quite well all the way around. And there's my propane tanks there. I keep that open for access so the guy can come and fill them up once I need to, but there's no hurry with that. Those tanks have done me well for more than 2 months without being refilled, and I still got 60% in each of the tanks, actually more in one. So I'm okay with that. And I got power. That was in January. They hooked me up, which was nice. There was a little bit of a mix-up with that, but that delayed it. I could have had it a little bit earlier, I guess, but in the end, it worked out really well. I'm really glad I have hydro. I got real tired of running my generator all the time, and that was a lot of gas that I didn't have to burn. I put in a pole down there, and it's been working well. But as you can see, there's lots of snow. It's actually packed down. We've had a couple of days of above freezing, so the snow hasn't really gone away, but it has packed down quite well. Repairs and stuff. The furnace, I was a bit concerned about the furnace. This is an old trailer. Nothing was actually maintained, so I've had to kind of, every once in a while I had to deal with that, fixing things or replacing parts. And the motor in it, the fan motor, it's working, but it's dirty. I have actually pulled it out and taken it apart and cleaned off the bearing ends, and it's held up well. I thought I was going to have to replace that, but it's done okay. My fridge quit. I don't know what it is. I think it's an electronic problem, and I'm not going to fix it. I'm going to get just an ordinary fridge. I need an ordinary fridge anyways for the house, so I'll get but I don't need a big one. So I'm going to get a small all fridge to substitute. I'm not going to get rid of the propane furnace. Those damn things are expensive. There's to replace that with another propane fridge is like $3,000, even those small ones. So I'm keeping that. Now I will fix it eventually, but not right now. My backhoe worked really well for clearing snow. Started up just like it should, and I was happy with that. And Pepper has liked the snow. She actually does better in the winter time than in the summer. She's not real crazy about hot weather. We're going to have lots of fun combing out her winter fur once that starts to shed. Truck has worked fine. I put a ding in it though. I slid off the road around Christmas time. and put a dent in it. No big deal. Looks like hell, but it's still solid, so I'm not actually going to replace it. What I'm going to probably do is paint it up to make it look like a wound, but it doesn't rattle or anything, so I'm just leaving it. It's a 2003 truck. There's only so much I'm going to spend on it. Now, the bad part about it is that I don't have any heat in it. The heater core in the cab sprung a leak. You could almost swim in the floor of the passenger seat. And I wanted to fix it, but you have to take apart the entire inside of the truck to get to it. I mean, all of the dash, and you have to undo the steering wheel and take everything apart before you can actually get to the heater core. I said, no, I'm not doing that, and I'm sure as hell not paying for it. So I've been driving around with no heat. So I just bundle up like crazy and try and pick the warmest days possible during the wintertime to go do my errands. It hasn't been bad. And I think I'll probably put a one of those little diesel heaters in it eventually. That's going to be the simplest solution, certainly the cheapest. So here's this is where the house is going to go. And as you can see, I've been knocking down trees. I haven't the last 3 weeks. When the snow got too deep, I just stopped. And I'm anxious to get for this snow to go away so I can move these logs. Because my mill is going to be here in the middle of March. I have it ordered. And March 11th or so is when it's supposed to show up. So I'll be able to mill up a whole bunch of this stuff. Some of it I hope to use in the house, and the other stuff I'll use for furniture and whatever else I can think of. And maybe, hopefully, sell a bit of it to defray the costs of all this. My budget still hasn't changed. I'm hoping to have this place built with $60,000. I'm a bit discouraged by that though right at the moment because lumber prices have gone through the roof. So I'm not sure how that's going to play out. I'm just not going to worry about it too much. I'll start with what I can and work away at it. I've got other trees I'm going to be pulling down. This is, let's see, there's the house site there, and then that's north, and this is west, just across the kind of the laneway or driveway from the house. And I've got a birch tree I'm going to pull down, and then there's this oak here, and it's kind of leaning towards the house, and it's a beat up old one, and I'm going to knock that one down. There should still be some wood in there I can mill up. And then down there, it's a nice straight oak, but it's dead. And I'll probably knock that one down as well and mill it up rather than leave it rot there and not be able to get anything out of it. It would work as firewood, obviously, but I'd rather do some more useful stuff with it if I can. I'm not going crazy with cutting trees down, but there are some that I am strategically cutting out, particularly up here. I'll show you the stump in a minute. There was a really big hemlock right there, and it was shading where the house is going to go. And so I decided to take that one down. It's a really big one. I'm not even sure my mill is going to be able to handle the main base log. We'll see. Well, let me modify that. It will. I just have to do a little bit of work to cut it down into something that's the right size. And then there's another group of hemlocks right here, and I may cut them down because they're going to shade the house. They are shading the house site, but I'm not as much of a hurry for that one, for those I mean. But we're heading up the hill here, and this is all still part of the laneway that was on the property. And I'm going up here because there's a nice site up kind of at the top of the hill here that will be a good spot for the mill. And I do have the tractor so I can bring the logs up here. And there's a few trees up in here that I have in mind to cut down as well. Two of them in particular. There's an oak down farther there that's dead. I'll take that one out, and hopefully there's something to mill out of that. And then there's a great big pine that's dead, and if I can get it out of there, that's gonna probably do for all the interior work that I might need. So, top of the hill here, and here's my mill site. It's nice and flat. It must have been kind of a turnaround place for whatever machinery they had up in here at one time. And so that's where the mill's going to be. And of course that goes down to the south end of the property. And Pepper and I every day, at least once, make a tour around the property here. And if I'm getting lazy, she reminds me that I should get off my backside and come out with her. But I wanted to give you an update. The winter has been okay, and I'm at that point where I'm kind of feel stalled. I haven't done nearly as much as I probably could have. I'm avoiding doing my taxes, but I will get on that. And I'm anxious to have the snow go away so I can really get going with the next phase of my new life here on Camp Road, and hopefully get things set up so I can start baking soon and maybe sell a bit. We'll see. More later. Good to talk to you. Bye.